Hello aspirants, welcome back to Daily Current Affairs Analysis by Civics and IAS, where we break down the most relevant and high impact topics from the UPSC CSE Prelims perspective using the reverse engineering technique, which is the core approach of Civics and IAS, where we analyze previous year questions to identify the trends and predict the potential areas of focus. Displayed below are the key topics which we'll be covering today. Well, let's begin the first article. It says that on January 22, two separate murder convictions resulted in sharply contrasting verdicts, highlighting how the Indian courts apply the death penalty. While one case led to the capital punishment, the other saw the accused sentenced to the life imprisonment, reigniting the questions about the judiciary's approach to the Rarest of Rare doctrine, which till now does not have any statutory definition. Given that, let's know exactly what is the Rarest of Rare case. First, let's address an important fact that there is no statutory definition of the term rarest of the rare. Instead, the Supreme Court determines it based on the specific facts of each case, and this principle governs the application of capital punishment in India, ensuring that the death penalty is reserved for only the most heinous crimes. But the debate over the death penalty is not new. In the past, there were a legal challenge under the Article 19 where the petitioner argued that capital punishment violates the fundamental rights and lacks the clear judicial guidelines. But however, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the death penalty under the Article 21, and the court reasoned that the accused is aware of the punishment and all the mitigating factors are taken into account. But at the time, there were no clear guidelines on exactly when the death penalty should be imposed, leading to a wide judicial discretion. Now, to bring more clarity to you, see, the Supreme Court later identified 5 key factors that justify the death penalty under the Rarest of Rare doctrine. Let's go through them. First, the manner of committing the murder, where if a crime is brutal, heinous, and shocks the society, it falls under this category. Second, the motive of the murder, where if the crime is committed with extreme cruelty and depravity, it may attract the capital punishment. Thirdly, the socially abhorrent nature of the crime, and this applies to the murderers that target the minorities or vulnerable groups, making them particularly serious. Fourth, the magnitude of the crime, where if the case involves mass killings or extreme criminal acts, the death penalty may be considered. Finally, the personality of the offender. If the victims include children, women, the elderly, or helpless individuals, it is considered as an aggravating factor. So, the Rarest of the Rare doctrine plays a key role in deciding when the capital punishment should be applied. However, since there is no fixed definition, the interpretation varies from case to case, sometimes leading to the contrasting judgments. Now, moving to the second article, it says that the unemployment rate in urban areas of the country was 6.4% for the period of October to December in the year 2024 for persons of age 15 and above, says the Periodic Labour Force Survey, which was released by the Statistics and Program Implementation Ministry here on Tuesday. Now, in this context, let's talk about the unemployment and see what does it mean, and also talk about how it is measured and what are the latest unemployment trends in India. Let's break it down in simple terms. First, let's understand what unemployment is. Know that it is a condition where individuals actively seek employment but are unable to secure a job. It is considered a crucial economic indicator as it reflects the health of a country's job market. To measure the unemployment, we use the unemployment rate, which is calculated using a simple formula, where unemployment rate equals to unemployed individuals by total labor force multiplied with 100. And this percentage helps us understand how many people in the labor force are unable to find jobs. Now, let's look at the International Labour Organization definition of unemployment. See, according to the International Labour Organization, a person is considered unemployed if they meet 3 conditions. First, they're jobless, next, available for the work, and also actively searching for the employment. This means that simply not having a job does not classify someone as unemployed unless they're actively looking for one. Now, moving on, let's talk about some key employment indicators that helps us access the labor market trends. First, the labor force participation rate, which refers to the percentage of people working or seeking work in the total population. Next is the worker population ratio, which measures the percentage of employed persons in the total population. Further, the unemployment rate. As we discussed earlier, it represents the percentage of unemployed individuals in the labor force. Additionally, we have different measures to track the employment status over time. That is, the usual status, which considers a person's employment status over the past 365 days before the survey. Whereas, while the current weekly status examines the employment status over the past 7 days before the survey. And these indicators provide a clear picture of employment conditions in a country. Now, let's look at the latest unemployment trends based on the periodic labor force survey. Know that, according to the report, the unemployment rate for the individuals aged 15 and above in urban areas stood at 6.4% during this period. Now, if we break it down by gender, the unemployment rate for men was 5.8%, while for women, it was significantly higher at 8.1%. And now, if we look at state-wise unemployment trends, Himachal Pradesh recorded the highest unemployment rate at 10.4%. It also had the highest female unemployment rate at 24%. While on the other hand, Gujarat reported the lowest unemployment rate at 3%, while Delhi had the lowest female unemployment rate at just 1.3%. Now, let's analyze how employment is distributed across different sectors. According to the latest data, 5.5% of employment in urban areas is in agriculture sector. And the secondary sector, which includes mining, manufacturing and construction, accounts for 31.8% of employment. Further, the tertiary sector, which includes services like IT, finance and retail, dominates with 62.7% of employment. Now, moving forward to the next article, it says that India is in the final stages of preparing its first ever biannual transparency report, part of its commitment as a signatory to the 2015 Paris Agreement on Climate Change, said by the Environmental Ministry officials. So, in this context, let's discuss what exactly is the biannual transparency report, that is in short BTR, and why is it important. Know that the Biannual Transparency Report, in short the BTR, is a mandatory climate report that all the countries that signed the 2015 Paris Agreement must submit to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, in short the UNFCCC. Significantly, this report serves as a transparent and verified document providing updated data on countries' greenhouse gas emissions, climate actions, and also the policy measures. Now, let's talk about what India's BTR will include. See, this report will officially present India's position on various key aspects such as the greenhouse gas emissions inventory, also the major sectors contributing to the emissions, energy efficiency improvements, and also the transition to the renewable energy along with the availability of necessary resources. And these details are crucial for understanding India's efforts to combat the climate change and also the transition towards a greener future. Now, moving on, let's look at some of the key features of the BTR. See, it is required to be submitted every 2 years by all the signatory countries, and once submitted, it undergoes a thorough review by the independent UNFCCC aggregated experts to ensure the accuracy and reliability. Further, see, the another important point is that it includes the updated emissions data with India's upcoming BTR covering the data until the year 2022. And this ensures that report reflects the most recent trends in the India's climate policies and also the environmental impact. Now, let's understand why this report is significant. Let's take a quick look at the background of BTR submissions first. See, initially, only developed countries were required to submit these reports. However, after the 2015 Paris Agreement, all the countries committed to enhancing transparency by regularly submitting BTRs to the UNFCCC, while the requirement to follow a specific prescribed format only came into effect at COP 2024 in Baku, where all the signatory countries were expected to submit their first BTRs by December 2024. However, some countries, including India, missed this deadline but are now in the final stages of preparing their reports. But why does this matter? See, BTR is a essential step in tracking and accessing a country's climate commitments. It holds nations accountable, provides updated data on emissions, and also the progress and strengthens the global efforts to tackle the climate change. As India prepares to submit its first ever biannual transparency report, it will play a critical role in shaping climate policies and reinforcing its commitment to sustainable development. Now, the next topic is about the earthquake swarms. See, you may have heard of earthquakes, but did you know that sometimes multiple seismic events occur in a short period without a single major shock, and this phenomena is known as an earthquake swarm. So, let's see more briefly about the earthquake swarms. Know that it occurs when multiple seismic events of comparable intensity strike a small area in quick succession. Unlike the typical earthquakes, swarms do not have a single main shock and can continue for even days or also the weeks. And they are the most commonly found in active geothermal regions and are triggered when seismic energy builds up inside the earth and is released gradually at the different points. Now, let's understand the causes of earthquake swarm sequences. See, the first major cause is a fluid movement, and this typically occurs in the volcanic environments where fluids released from deep magma or geothermal activity circulate through cracks and walls, triggering the seismic activity. And a well-known example of this is the topovolcanic zone in New Zealand, where such swarms are common. And the other major cause is the active volcanism. When the magma pushes through the Earth's crust, it creates cracks and fractures, leading to the small earthquakes. And these quakes often occur in two places: near the crack tip, where the magma is opening the crack, and also the off to the side of the magma-filled crack. Next, we also have slow slip events, and these are special type of slow motion earthquakes where the fault movements occurs over weeks to years. See, unlike sudden earthquakes, these involve only centimeters to tens of centimeters of movement, and they're commonly found in the subduction zones such as the Hikurangi subduction zone, where at least one or two slow slip events occur annually. And now, let's talk about the earthquake swarms in India. Well, the major earthquakes are rare in peninsular India. Swarms have been reported after heavy rainfall, and this happens when the water infiltrates underground crack rock fractures, increasing the pressure and triggering the seismic activity. And a 2008 study estimated that for every 10-meter rise in water table, the rock pressure increases by approximately 1 atmosphere, which can potentially cause the earthquakes. Now, moving to the next article, it says that days after the Chandrayaan-3 lander, Vikram, made a soft landing on Moon in August 2023, scientists at ISRO found a dilemma on their hands that led to an additional experiment. See, as we know, in August 2023, ISRO made history when the Vikram lander successfully made a soft landing on the Moon. And this marked a significant milestone in India's space exploration journey. And the mission was a huge success, and initially, no further experiments were planned. However, just days after the landing, scientists at ISRO discovered something unexpected. That is, Vikram still had some unused fuel left, and this led to a debate among the scientists, where some experts believed that the remaining fuel should be used for an additional experiment, while others felt that since the primary objective was already achieved, there was no need for the further test. But after the careful discussions between the former ISRO chairman S. Somanath and now ISRO chief V. Narayanan, a decision was made that the Vikram's engines would be reactivated for a new experiment. And in September 2023, ISRO carried out this unique test, which was called the HOP experiment, where the remaining fuel in Vikram was ignited, causing the lander to raise 40 centimeters above the moon surface and land 30 to 40 centimeters away from its original position. This experiment demonstrated ISRO's ability to perform short-range control landings, which could be crucial for the future missions, including the potential human exploration of the moon. And now, in the same context, let's take a quick look at the Chandrayaan-3 overall mission. Know that this mission was a follow-up to the Chandrayaan 2, which aimed at demonstrating India's capability to safely land and operate a rover on the lunar surface. This mission consisted of a Land Rover configuration and was launched using the LVM-3 rocket from the Sriharikota. And also, the propulsion module carried the lander and rover configuration to a 100-kilometer lunar orbit before detaching. Interestingly, the propulsion module also carried a special payload called the SHAPE, that is the spectropolarimeter of habitable planet Earth, which was designed to study Earth's spectral and polarimetric measurements from the lunar orbit. Now, let's discuss the payloads on board the Vikram lander. See, the lander carried multiple scientific instruments, including we have the Chandra surface thermophysical experiment to measure the thermal conductivity and temperature of the lunar surface. Second is the instrument for lunar seismic activity, which detects and measures the seismic activity around the landing site, and also the Langmuir probe to estimate the plasma density and its variations on the moon, and also the passive laser reflector array from NASA to enable the lunar laser ranging studies. Further, the rover also carried two important instruments, that is, alpha particular X-ray spectrometer for analyzing the elemental composition of the moon surface, and also the laser-induced breakdown spectroscope to further study the composition of the lunar rocks and the soil. So, through Chandrayaan 3, ISRO has not only demonstrated its technological advancements but also carried out innovative experiments like the HOP test, and these experiments will play a crucial role in future lunar explorations and possibly even human missions to the moon. Now, moving to the next article, it is celebrating a decade of soil health cards. Now, in this context, let's discuss about the soil health cards. Know that the Soil Health Card Scheme was launched on 19th of February 2015 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Suratgarh, Rajasthan. It is implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare with the aim of helping farmers improve soil health and fertility through the scientific assessments. Now, let's discuss the key objectives of the Soil Health Card Scheme. The first objective is to improve the soil quality, ensuring the long-term fertility and better crop productivity. The second objective is to increase the farmer's profitability by promoting optimized fertilizer use, which yields to the higher yields. Another important goal is the employment generation, as the scheme creates job opportunities for the rural youth in soil testing and analysis. Additionally, it also focuses on real-time data updating, ensuring that farmers have access to accurate soil analysis reports. Lastly, it aims to provide accessible soil testing facilities by bringing soil testing services closer to the farmers' doorsteps. Now, let's take a look at the key features of the Soil Health Card. See, the card accesses soil quality based on 12 important parameters, and these are divided into three categories. They are the macronutrients, which consist of NPK and S, that is the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and sulfur, and also the micronutrients like zinc, iron, copper, manganese and boron. And also soil health indicators such as pH, whether it is to identify acidity or basicity, and also the electrical conductivity and organic carbon. Now, see, to ensure the regular soil testing, the soil samples are collected twice a year, once after the Kharif season and once after the Rabi season, or when there are no standing crops in the field. And this helps in monitoring the soil health periodically and provides farmers with timely recommendations on fertilizer application. Further, to make the soil testing data easily accessible, the government introduced the Soil Health Card portal and also the mobile app, where the web-based portal provides standardized soil health cards in multiple languages and dialects to farmers across the country. And in the year 2023, a mobile app was also launched with the advanced features including restricting the soil sample collection to designated regions, auto selection of GPS which coordinates to ensure the accurate location tracking, and also the generation of QR codes linking the soil sample data to the online portal. Further, integration with GIS technology to visualize soil health data on the maps. And Furthermore, another major development is the integration of soil health card scheme with the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Well, from the year 2020 to 2023, the scheme became a component of this Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana under the Soil Health and Fertility Sub-scheme. And this integration has helped in expanding soil testing infrastructure and ensuring better resource allocation. And these technological advancements in soil health card scheme have made it even more efficient, where the geographic information system, that is GIS integration on portal, now allows users to visualize soil health data across different administrative levels, including the states, districts, taluks, panchayats and the cadastral areas. And this has improved soil data analysis and decision making policy. Furthermore, the mobile app has also been upgraded to enhance usability for soil sampling and data collection. With automated reporting and QR code based soil health cards, farmers now can access their soil reports instantly. And also, the National Informatics Centers, in short the NIC, has played a significant role in developing the web-based workflow application to digitalize soil health cards, ensuring that farmers get quick and reliable soil analysis report. So, as we celebrate a decade of soil health card scheme, it is clear that this initiative has revolutionized soil management in India, and it also helped farmers make informed decisions, reduce the excessive fertilizer use and also boost the agriculture productivity. With continuous technological advancements, the scheme is expected to further improve soil health monitoring and precision farming. Moving to the next article, it says that Bharat Tex 2025, which is India's largest global textile event, was successfully organized from February 14 to 17 at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi, where the event spanned 2.2 million square feet and featured over 5,000 exhibitions, providing a comprehensive showcase of India's textile ecosystem. And also more than 120,000 trade visitors from 120 plus countries, including the global CEOs, policymakers, and industry leaders, attended the event. Now, let's understand the main objective of Bharat Tex 2025. See, the event was organized to promote the government's vision of farm to fiber, fabric, fashion, and foreign markets. Significantly, this vision aims to strengthen India's leadership in the global textile industry by integrating all the aspects of textile production and also the trade. Next, let's take a look at the economic significance of India's textile industry. See, on a global scale, India ranks as the sixth largest textile exporter, contributing 8.21% to the country's total exports in the year 2023-2024. And this sector holds a 4.5% share in the global textile trade, with its top export destinations being the United States and European Union, which together account for 47% of India's textile exports. Not only does the textile industry contribute to the economy, but it also plays a crucial role in employment generation. The industry directly employs over 45 million people and indirectly supports over 100 million people, including the women and also the rural workers. And this aligns with the key government initiatives like Make in India, Skill India, Women Empowerment, and also the rural youth employment. With such a vast workforce, the industry is a pillar of India's socio-economic growth. Further, now looking at the growth potential, India's textiles exports were valued at 3 lakh crore, and the government has set an ambitious target to triple this to 9 lakh crore by the year 2030. To achieve these, several policies and schemes have been introduced to support the industry. One such initiative is the PM Mitra Park scheme, which focuses on developing 7 mega integrated textile regions and apparel parks. And these parks will have a massive investment of USD 10 million aimed at creating an integrated textile ecosystem with the state-of-the-art facilities. And another important policy is the production linked incentive, that is the PLI schemes for textiles, with an approval budget of 10,683 crore, which is approximately USD 1 billion. The scheme is designed to boost the manufacturing of man-made fibers, fabrics, apparels and technical textiles. This will strengthen domestic production and enhance India's competitiveness in the global markets. Apart from infrastructure and financial support, skill development is also a key focus area. And also, the Samarth scheme, which is a demand-driven training program aimed at bridging skill gaps in the textile value chain. Additionally, the National Mission on Technical Textiles is actively promoting the research, innovation, education, and market development in the technical textiles with the goal of reaching USD 300 billion by the year 2047. And also, the state governments are playing a crucial role in supporting the textile industry by offering capital support, wage subsidies, and incentives for power and water consumption. These measures help boost local textile manufacturing and attract investments. Another noteworthy initiative is the Grant for Research and Entrepreneurship Scheme. This scheme provides financial grants to the startups working on innovations in medical industries and also the protective textiles. Moreover, educational institutions like IIT Indore and NIT Patna have received funds to introduce specialist courses in technical textiles, ensuring that India builds a strong talent pool for the future. So, with Bharat Tex 2025 successfully bringing industry leaders, innovators, and policymakers together, it has created a solid foundation for India's textile industry to grow and thrive. As India continues to push forward with the vision of its self-reliance and global leadership in textiles, these initiatives will be key to achieving the long-term success. Now, moving to the next article, India's gross domestic product is expected to grow at a slower pace of 6.4% to 6.6% in the third quarter of fiscal year 2025 as opposed to 8.6% in the quarter 3 of the financial year 24 as global uncertainties spill over to the Indian economy. Now, in this context, let's see what exactly is GDP and why does it matter. Let's break it down in simple terms. Know that gross domestic product, that is GDP, is a monetary value of all the final goods and services produced within a country over a specified period, usually a year. And it is the most important indicator of economic health as it measures a country's economic output and the growth. Now, let's look at the key aspects of GDP. One of the most important aspects is the measurement, where GDP is calculated at market prices using a base year for the comparison. Another important aspect is the GDP growth rate, which measures economic progress by comparing GDP across different quarters or years. Now, this GDP is closely linked to the economic phases. When GDP shows the positive growth, it means that economy is expanding, leading to job creation, higher income, and increased consumer spending. However, if GDP shows the negative growth, it signals a recession where businesses delay investment, job opportunities decline, and people cut down on spending. This is why GDP is a key factor in understanding economic cycles, which include phases like peak, contraction, trough, and expansion. Now next, let's discuss the different types of GDP. First type is a nominal GDP, which measures the value of all the final goods and services at current market prices. However, this figure is not adjusted for inflation, meaning that even if the economy does not grow, GDP might increase due to higher prices. This is why nominal GDP is generally higher than the real GDP. Now, what is real GDP here? See, it is calculated by adjusting for inflation using a base year, and this provides a clear picture of the true economic growth. And the formula for real GDP is real GDP equals to nominal GDP by inflation factor. Now, another key metric here is that GDP growth rate, which measures how fast the economy is expanding by comparing the GDP changes over the quarters or years. A high growth rate can sometimes indicate economic overheating, promoting the central banks to raise interest rates to control the inflation. And on the other hand, negative GDP growth is a sign of economic slowdown or recession, often leading to the government stimulus, which measures or interest rates cuts to boost the spending. Now, let's take a look at GDP in India. See, the base year for GDP calculation was revised to the 2011-12 in January 2025, replacing the earlier base year of 2004-2005. Additionally, India shifted from calculating GDP at factor cost to using gross value added at basic prices. This change aligns India's GDP calculations with global practices and provides a more industry specific breakdown of economic performance. Now, why does this all matter? See, understanding GDP helps us track the growth and stability of the economy, where a strong GDP means more jobs, better income, and a growing economy. However, when GDP slows down, governments and central banks need to intervene with policies to boost the growth and prevent the economic downturns. Now, the last article of the day says that higher uptake of pension fund through NPS subscriptions may lead to assets under management in the pension fund industry through NPS double to 29.5 lakh crore by the year 2030 according to DSP Mutual Fund. See, whether you are a government employee, a private sector worker, or even self-employed, NPS, that is the National Pension System, offers a structured and secure way to save for your retirement. Now, let's understand how it works and why you should consider investing in it. Know that the National Pension System was introduced by the Government of India on 1st of January 2004 with the aim of providing retirement income for all its citizens. However, before the launch of NPS, the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority was established on 10th of October 2003 to regulate and develop the pension sector in India. Initially, NPS was introduced only for new government recruits except those in the armed forces. However, from 1st May 2009, the scheme was extended to all the Indian citizens, including those in the unorganized sector, on a voluntary basis. And the main objective of this NPS is to promote the pension reforms and encourage the habit of saving for the retirement. Now, let's discuss some of the key features of the National Pension System. See, when you enroll in the system, you are allotted a permanent retirement account number which remains the same throughout your lifetime, regardless of job changes or relocations. Now, there are two types of accounts under this NPS. Tier 1 account, this is a non-withdrawable account meant specifically for the retirement savings. The second, the Tier 2 account, this is a voluntary savings account that allows you to withdraw money anytime but does not offer the tax benefits. To ensure the smooth functioning of the system, NPS follows a well-structured regulatory framework. The Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority is the autonomous body that regulates and develops the pension market in India. Also, the individuals can open NPS account through the point of presence institutions such as the banks and financial institutions. Meanwhile, the Central Record Keeping Agency managed by NSDL, that is the National Securities Depository Limited, handles record keeping, administration and customer service. Lastly, after the retirement, annuity service providers helps convert your NPS savings into a regular pension. Now, who are all eligible to enroll in NPS? Well, first, the central government employees, second, the state government employees, further, the corporate employees, where the companies can either manage NPS subscriptions for their employees at the corporate level or allow the individual employees to opt for the schemes themselves. Also, any citizen, that is the Indian citizen between 18 to 60 years, can voluntarily join NPS and start saving for their retirement. Lastly, the unorganized sector workers, like the individuals aged 18 to 60 years who are not covered under any social security schemes like EPF, can also enroll under the Swalamban scheme. Now, if we talk about the benefits of NPS and why it is an attractive retirement saving option, firstly, the transparency, where NPS allows you to track your investments daily, ensuring complete transparency in fund management. Second is the simplicity and also the portability, where even if you change the jobs or move to different locations, your PRAN, that is your account number, remains the same, ensuring the seamless continuity. Lastly, the regulation, that is, it is strictly monitored, making sure that investments are managed with transparent norms and secure guidelines. So, in conclusion, the national pension system is one of the best long-term investment option for the retirement planning. It also provides a structured, transparent, and well-regulated system to help you build a financially secure future. Whether you are a government employee, a private sector worker, or even self-employed, NPS offers a disciplined way to save for retirement while enjoying the tax benefits. So with this, we conclude the today's current affairs video analysis, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thank you.